3 days. Blood on a Pennsylvania ridge. Two armies collided in a town of crossroads, and a single failed gamble changed the course of a nation. Gettysburg was not just a battle. It was the hinge of the American Civil War. Gettysburg was the war's decisive crucible. In July 1863, the Confederate Army of Northern Virginia, under General Robert E. Lee, marched north to threaten the Union heartland. Opposing them, the Army of the Potomac under General George G. Meade met Lee on ground that favored neither side. The result was 3 days of savage fighting, culminating in a frontal assault, Pickett's charge, that shattered Confederate hopes and shifted the war's momentum. Gettysburg was strategically and symbolically crucial. Lee hoped a major victory on Union soil would relieve pressure on Virginia, encourage foreign recognition, and sap Northern morale. For the Union, holding Pennsylvania was essential to protect major cities and to blunt Confederate initiative. Neither commander expected a single engagement here to decide everything, but the political and military stakes turned it into a turning point. In late June and early July 1863, Lee moved his army into Pennsylvania after victories in Virginia. The two armies bumped into each other near Gettysburg almost by accident. Cavalry clashes, rapid marches, and fragmented commands created a fast-escalating clash. Both sides made critical assumptions about terrain, reinforcements, and the opponent's intentions. Those assumptions about where to deploy artillery, which ridgelines to hold, and how quickly reserves could arrive, shaped every costly decision over the next 72 hours. On July 1st, Confederate divisions pushed Union forces through the town toward Cemetery Hill. The Confederates won the day locally, but they failed to press a disorganized advantage into a decisive breakthrough. Union troops occupied and fortified key high ground, Cemetery Ridge and Culp's Hill, positions that would prove vital for the next 2 days. Lee's failure to seize and exploit that terrain gave Meade a defensive geometry he could hold. July 2nd saw savage fighting for control of the Union flanks. Attacks on Little Round Top, the Wheat Field, Devil's Den, and the Peach Orchard produced chaotic, close-quarters combat. A timely bayonet charge on Little Round Top and stubborn Union artillery on the ridges blunted Confederate assaults. The Confederates battered the Union lines but could not crack them. Both armies paid a terrible price in men and momentum. 2 months later, President Abraham Lincoln would travel to Gettysburg and offer a few short sentences that reframed the sacrifice. For 7 years ago, his words turned a battlefield into a symbol and a purpose, unity and a new birth of freedom. On July 3rd, Lee made the fateful decision. A massive artillery barrage followed by a coordinated infantry assault aimed at the center of the Union line on Cemetery Ridge. Thousands of Confederate soldiers advanced across open fields under withering artillery and musket fire. The charge smashed against prepared positions and Union canister. Waves faltered, commanders fell, and the hope for a decisive Confederate victory collapsed. Pickett's charge broke the Confederate offensive in the east. Gettysburg left roughly 50,000 soldiers killed, wounded, or missing, a staggering toll that neither side could easily absorb. Lee's army retreated back to Virginia, weakened and dispirited. The Confederacy's capacity for offensive operations in the North was effectively ended. Politically, Gettysburg bolstered Northern morale and, when coupled with the Union victory at Vicksburg a day later, marked a turning point that favored the Union cause. Militarily, Gettysburg reinforced the risks of frontal assaults against well-entrenched positions and highlighted the value of interior lines, terrain, and rapid reinforcement. Culturally, the battle and Lincoln's address crystallized the meaning of the war for the American public: sacrifice, union, and the idea that government of the people must endure. Gettysburg became both a lesson in tactics and a foundation for national remembrance. Gettysburg shocked Americans because it combined ordinary mistakes, extraordinary courage, and a decision that changed history. If Gettysburg moved you, subscribe and comment. Which battlefield decision on any war do you think aired history the most?